Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who's had divinations with me, who we've pulled out your spirit guides, we've identified them, we identified their tools, we identified their placement of what it is that they do for you, what it is that they have access to. I don't give you that information just for you to have it, right? I expect you to not come back to me and ask me 1,000 questions about your next step beyond what we've already discussed. If you feel that you have an issue that is up against you, your first step is to go utilize those tools, contact and commune with those particular spirit guides, and ask them if any of them will be willing to do any workings. Is it in your best interest to do any type of a spiritual working about whatever the incident is? If the answer is a yes, and you guys have to realize that when you're newly awakening and you're trying to, work on your intuition and stuff, what pops in here is not always right. It's a process of identifying what's yours and what's theirs and what's their influence and what's your own mind. That's why you have tools so that you can double check yourself. Some of y'all don't go back to your tools and double check yourselves and be making wrong and strong decisions because A, you don't meditate, B, you don't clean yourself enough, C, I'm about to start putting numbers in this motherfucker too, C, you don't spend the time trying to commune with them, D, you have no ritual and no routine. You don't know the processes of spirit. Like you don't understand what it is that you've stepped into. And you guys really got to have an understanding, right? If you have spirit guides and you know who they are, if you don't know who they are, you need to be finding out who they are. That's number one. Number two, once you know who they are, if you have something that you were told that you needed to do and you cannot get to that thing for months, right? Do you think that I'm going to just sit still and not do nothing? No, I'm going to go to all of the spirit guides that I have in here and see who wants to help me. That's why they're there, to guide you, to help you. So if you're not going over to them and asking them for the help and the assistance, then what was the purpose in you tapping in and finding out who they were? They're not there just to sit there. They're there to guide you. They're not there just to read other people. They're there to read you too. Half of the messages that y'all get that y'all want to give out to the world, it be for y'all first. And y'all don't look at that. Everybody wants to be in the front lines, but didn't put in the work and really understand what it is that they're doing and walking into. Y'all shouldn't be doing that. Y'all putting targets on y'all back for no reason. I said this before, that it took me over a decade before I stepped out in front. And this is a decade of actively doing spirituality, like on a daily basis, like living it, making it a part of my life. Knowing that I came up in a spiritual family, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about as an adult, living life's experiences, experiencing life, living on this plane and hardships and all of that other kind of stuff, ups and downs, and the human experience to the fullest extent of the law. You know what I'm saying? Before I came out here and started sharing with you guys. And that was only because my spirits and my ancestors said it's time, So stop trying to be out in the front line when you're not ready. People, and that's how people get caught up into nonsense and caught up into attention that they're not ready for, and answers that they don't have to questions that are going to be asked and tests that are going to be thrown ahead of you. Like, this is not a game. And if you're looking to find community, then being in the front line is not always the way to go. You got to learn. You got to be taught some things. That comes, a lot of it through spirit, but then you have the blessing of humans that have been able to give knowledge and information and their wisdom, and that have actually lived life. It be the 20-something-year-olds on here that be trying to give life advice, and y'all haven't even lived life yet. So to me, I think that's just stop, right? You can speak about your experience, but that stops at a certain point. So here I am, almost 50. So how your 20-something-year-old experience is supposed to be telling me something about my life? You can't yet, right? The point is, everybody needs to stay in their lane. Stay in your lane until the ancestors tell you, now it's time for you to change lanes. Now it's time for you to go up on the highway. Now it's time for you to move here, and then move here. But y'all got to be asking y'all spirits. It ain't about what we want. It's about what we need in this spiritual walk. Stop being lazy, right? Stop expecting people to do works for you all the time. Do your own shit, right? To my initiates, a lot of y'all, unfortunately, ran to the initiations and stuff and never got the chance to really get into y'all spirit guides. Y'all need to circle back and do that ASAP, right? It's your balance, right? You learn this stuff about these initiatory practices, and everything is about balance. Your ancestors and your own personal spirit guides are no different, okay? Don't be ashamed to ask what you don't know, right? Don't feel like, oh, even if you, because I deal with a lot of people that are initiates, that have been initiates for years, that have more seniority than me in those spiritual practices. But I got more where ancestors, spirit guides, espiritismo, like that stuff. I'm still a paleta, I'm still an Egun woman, I'm still a Ialode of an Egbe, I'm still all of that before I became Crown Shango. You know what I'm saying? So it is about all of the pieces that make up your story, all of the pieces that fit your puzzle. You can't force these pieces, and you can't create these pieces. These pieces you've chosen before you got here. Now let's put them together so that you can be fully empowered, self-sufficient, and not leaning on other people so much when you have access, the ability, and I give y'all all of the knowledge that y'all need. You know what I'm saying? Anytime y'all ask me a question, 9 times out of 10, I send you a video. That means it's on my page. Get with the syllabus. I have a lot of things that are about to come up, and it's going to be for those who have already got to a certain point, because it's not a beginner's thing. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's helping, but you got to know like who you fucking with spiritually for you to be doing these types of things. Like, there's levels to this, and I want y'all to be all on the same accord so that we can get to a particular kind of level, and I can start shooting out these courses and these classes and stuff that you're gonna need. But y'all keep trying to go back to square one. Like, no, we're not going back to square one. Square one is in my feed. Get at that, right? Once you get at that, then you'll be ready for the next level. Time waits for no one. Stop wasting y'all time. Stop worrying about your urges and your desires, and worry more about what you need in this life. And then your wants will come after that. But your needs, let's get with that first, because y'all need to be spiritually tapped in. Y'all need to be spiritually inclined. Y'all need to be, you know, leaded and guided, and have that guidance from spirit to tell you what you don't know and what you don't see, and which way you should be going. What's beneficial for you and what's in your best interest ultimately.